Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. I know it's been like 2 weeks since I've posted something, but excuse this lighting, it's pretty bad. It's kind of late at night. It's like gonna be 9 o'clock and usually I use daylight for natural light, but today I don't have that. So it's gonna be a little bit darker of a video, so sorry about that. But today I just wanted to kind of just come on here and talk about what's been going on the last like 2 weeks, I guess. For those of you who care, majority don't really care, but just for you that were wondering why I haven't uploaded anything, it's not that I didn't want to, I just didn't really feel like uploading anything, I guess we can say that. So I guess almost 2 weeks ago now, so it was on August 9th was when it all kind of just went downhill. So August 9th after work, we took our older dog, Toby, to the vet because he hadn't been acting like himself or eating much or drinking much, and something was just wrong with him. And at first we thought he just had like a cold or something, because usually around this time of the year he would always catch like a cold, and it just kind of got worse throughout that week. And then the 9th, which was a Friday after work, we decided to just take him to the emergency vet just in case anything was actually really wrong. And yeah, so that day we basically found out that he had, I'm not exactly sure what the disease or the sickness was called. It was like this really long name that they gave us. He had an ulcer in his stomach and he was bleeding from the inside, and yeah, a lot of bad things. Basically, there was like no actual cure to what he had, and they told us there wasn't much of a high chance for him to survive this, and it was just really unexpected and really random. And yeah, so we decided to bring him home, and they gave us medication to try to kind of slow down that process. Basically, what his body was doing, it was just attacking itself, and he couldn't heal from the inside anymore, and he was just kind of bleeding on the inside, which is really sad, and he was just kind of suffering. And let's see what else, how to explain this. So yeah, so his red blood cells, I believe it was the red blood cells, I don't even remember, with so much that happened and so much information they gave us. So his body was just attacking itself, and he just couldn't repair it and stop the bleeding himself anymore. And yeah, so they told us we could give him medication to try to slow down that process, and so we decided to do that. We took him home, and he took his medication the very first day that we brought him home, and then he just kind of completely stopped eating and stopped drinking. I mean, he would drink some water like occasionally, really rare, but he just decided to stop eating, so we couldn't give him his medication anymore just because he had to be given it with food, and he just would not eat anything anymore. And you could just tell he was just really like tired. His body was just tired, and it was just kind of really sad to see, because you could tell he was suffering. And as much as he was trying, sorry, anyways, this is why I haven't uploaded anything. So as much as he was trying to like, this is why I don't talk about it, because then I just cry. But yeah, so let's try to carry on with this. he was trying really hard to just still move around and stuff, but you could just tell he was just, his body looked like it was just kind of swelling up and stuff. And since the very first day that we took him to the emergency room, the vet kind of told us about having to put him down. She kind of said it in a way that, like, I don't want to give you this option, but this may be your option. So yeah, so we all just agreed that that was probably what was best, just because we didn't want to see him suffer. Not necessarily us see him, but we didn't want him to suffer. Like, if there was anything else that we could do, but his odds, they told us, were less than 50%, and he basically was just not going to be able to be cured from what he had. It was just kind of gonna worsen with time, and his blood cells or whatever it was, I don't even remember, it was at like a 15 when it should have been like in the hundreds. So that's when we knew that it was pretty bad, because it was so low. And I mean, it wasn't easy deciding that that's what we should do. That's what we decided to do. And yeah, so we had like the weekend with him, and we tried to like do all these things for him, just to kind of like remind him of everything, of how much we loved him and all that. Like, he loved to eat pizza. Like, for his birthdays, we would get him like his personal pizza, so we tried to get him like pizza to see if he would eat at least that, and he didn't. That's how we knew that he was just pretty much done, I guess. I don't know how else to put that. But yeah, he didn't eat that, and he would still try to like come and greet us and stuff, and we would come home and like to my mom's house, because he lived at my mom's house. He stayed there because, like, I think I mentioned it before, he didn't come with us like to our apartment because he wouldn't go up the stairs. He refused to go up the stairs basically, and we live on the 3rd floor. But yeah, so he lived at my mom's, and I mean, I think he grew a lot more attached to them than he ever did with us. I mean, he loved all of us. Like, anytime we would come home, he would hear us on the phone. If I would call my mom and be in speaker, like, he would just be listening, and my mom would always be like, oh, like, say hi, or like call him or say something, because he would hear and he would know it was us. But yeah, so we decided that it was best for us to kind of just let him rest and not suffer anymore, because it was hard on him, and it was also hard on us. Sorry, still hard. But it was also hard, like, on us to like see him that way, you know, and just like always worry about like, oh, is this gonna be like the last time he wakes up or something, you know, like, I don't know. I know it seems like there's probably more that we could have done, but if you guys would have seen it, like, you would have understood, I guess. I didn't want to come on here and just start crying about everything, but that happened a lot lately, so anyways, so yes, so we decided to do that, and that was August 12th, which was Monday of last week. And we all said our goodbyes, and we were all there for the whole process. It was something that we all wanted to do. We wanted to be there, because as hard as it was, like, I knew I would regret it if I weren't there, and everyone was so worried because I'm pregnant, and they're like, you shouldn't be like going through such like emotional things, I guess. And I was like, no, I have to be here. Plus, I'm in charge of everything, so it's always me that takes charge of stuff, so I had to be there. So yeah, so on August 12th is when we put him to rest. And yeah, it was probably like one of the hardest things we've ever had to do, and to this day it's just like really hard. It's like, well, some days are good, and like everything else, you know, some days are good, some days are bad, but those first those first couple of days were just really hard. Just even leading up to that was pretty hard to do. But anyways, so yeah, so that was that day. And let's see, so we decided that, well, my dad really wanted us to get his ashes back, so we did a cremation, and they told us we had to wait like Friday of that week or earliest Monday, which was this Monday that passed by, because my dad wanted his remains back, and obviously like we all did. I don't think we would have chose it any different, even though it's still hard to just be like, here's the ashes, you know. I don't know, that's just kind of when it sinks in. But yeah, so that was that. And then that was Monday last week, the 12th, and that whole week after, we had to, well, I had to finish planning what was our baby shower, which was pretty, it wasn't as stressful, it was just so much to do, and like it kind of just sucked because over here we were planning on how to say goodbye to our dog, and I had to plan this like super happy event that I honestly didn't even want anymore. Because I just didn't want to like talk to anyone or see anyone or anything. That whole weekend I just like avoided everyone pretty much and just didn't want to see anyone. That's why I didn't upload anything. But yeah, so that happened. So that whole week we were planning our baby shower. I tried to do as much as I can, kind of to just like distract myself and make sure that like I wasn't so focused on just being sad, because I know it's not good for you to just be sad, but I know it's also not good for you to just keep everything in. So it was kind of hard to do both. So yeah, so then we finished doing all of that, and then on Saturday that passed, which was the 17th, we had our baby shower, which I am so glad that we did, because it genuinely felt like I was happy being there, you know. Even though as much as I didn't want to be there at first and I didn't want anything to do with it, I still pushed through it, and I still, you know, did everything that we could to have a good baby shower, not just for us but for our daughter, because at the end of the day it was for her, it wasn't necessarily for us. It was for her to be showered with all of her family, her friends, and just everyone that came by, even if it was just for like an hour or so, whatever. Like it just meant a lot to have so many people be there that actually cared, and it just kind of made me forget all about being sad. And it's just, I don't know, it was just like a good thing that it happened. So that was on Saturday, and then Sunday I kind of just spent all day organizing, putting away all the gifts from the baby shower, because there was a lot of stuff. So that kept my mind off everything that makes me kind of want to cry and stuff all day. So that was that. And then Monday, that's when they finally called us, or they called me to go pick up the ashes of Toby, and that's kind of when it just like hit me that like he's actually really gone. And I went by myself to go pick up the ashes from the vet, which was a good and a bad idea, just because I was just like, wow, you know, like. So I got there, and then she opens like this drawer up, and I see like all these bags of like other owners, pet owners, who like their ashes were there just waiting to be picked up, and that just made me really sad. I was like, wow, like that's just so sad. Like I'm not the only one that's like going through this. I mean, obviously not like my whole family's going through it, but like there's so many other people out there that were going through something like that, and it just made me sad. And then I just kind of took the bag and walked to my car, and I just realized like, wow, like I have him again, you know? Like, I don't know how to explain it. But it just like made me just like break down again and realize like this is real, you know? Like, I don't know how to explain it. But yeah, so what we got is just like a little clay print, and it has his paw on it, and it says his name on top. It says Toby. And what's it called? We got like a little box. It's like a cherry colored box, and the ashes are in there, and it comes with the certificate of cremation. So we had him cremated privately so we could get his ashes back. And what was like pretty sad, I guess, was just the fact that it gives you the date from when he was cremated, which was the 17th, which was Saturday, the day of the baby shower. And then I just felt so bad because I was like, we were over here, you know, so happy celebrating while this was going on. And it's like, I know I shouldn't feel bad, but it's me, I feel bad. Yeah, so that was that. And then I don't know, I guess just having him back, even though it's just like his ashes, being at my mom's house now, it kind of feels more of a relief knowing that he's back home there, even though it's not really him. It's just like the presence of it, I guess, makes me feel a lot better. Obviously it still makes me sad, and it still like makes me want to cry when I think about it and stuff, but I know he's back home, you know, like his remains are there, and that's where he's gonna be. And yeah, so that kind of like really helps. And also like I've never really been a huge like religious person and stuff, and everyone that knows me pretty well knows this, that I don't necessarily believe in the whole religion situation, but I do believe in like spiritual stuff and like energies and all that. But like this whole experience kind of just made me have a little more faith, if that makes sense. Like I never actually thought that would happen. I would think like, oh, if this was real, like why would this happen, you know? But it's actually made me realize like, yeah, there has to be something better, like somewhere where he's at, just so happy and running around and living his best life and watching over us, and one day we'll all be reunited, you know? Like that's something that I never really believed in, and now I do. And every time I just like look up to the sky, I'm just like, you're there, you know, like if that makes sense. And we had like little signs and stuff that like, I don't know if they're really signs, but we see it as, sorry, my glasses just fell off my face. But it's just like little things that we realize that have happened since then that kind of make you think of like, yeah, there's something more out there. Like there was this one time when like I got out of work, and I was like super sad. It was like the first day I went back to work, and I was leaving, and I just like decided to look up into the sky, and I saw like this picture. I can show you guys if I can find it real quick. But it was just like the sky, and there was like a heart. I don't know if you can see it, but there's like a heart here. And then I showed the picture to my mom, and then she swears that she sees like his like figure. If you look at it like here, it's really hard to see it, but like here she thinks like that's him, and I see it, and I see it when I look at it. But that was one of the signs that we got. Oh, the lighting just went bad. Okay, it's back. But yeah, so that's one of them. And then also at night, I don't hear things, that sounds insane, but I was like dreaming, and I heard like a bark, like if it was right next to me, and it wasn't Simba because I know Simba's bark, and I feel like that was just him telling me like I'm here, you know. it sounds crazy, but I just like to think of it that way. And Christian, my fiance, tells me that it's just all the little things that happen around you that remind you of him and remind me of him being here still, you know. Even though he's not here physically, like spiritually and in our minds and everything, he's still around anytime that we think of him. And then my dad sent us this picture. I don't know if you can see it, but it looks like a dog. He took that picture, I think it was like the day after or like 2 days after everything happened, and that was just that. And it's just like little things, you know, that we have noticed. But yeah, so that's the main thing that happened and why I haven't really been uploading anything, but I'm trying to get back into it. As you can tell by this video, sorry for, you know, not being the happiest video of all. But yeah, so I'm gonna end this here. I kind of just wanted to let you guys know about what was going on. I know some of you don't really want to hear this or talk about it or care for it, but if anyone has ever actually experienced something like this, like what kind of helped you guys, you know, get over it. I mean, I guess you could never really get over it. You could only just be more okay with it and go day by day. But it was just a really hard situation. I never actually thought that we would have to go through something like that. And I never really knew what to expect from it, especially because it was just so out of the blue and just like, normally you prepare yourself for something, or like you realize like, oh, like age, you know, like, you know, when someone's getting old, you kind of just know and you're kind of just waiting for it to happen, if that makes sense. But for him, it was within literally 2-3 days that we had found out that we couldn't really help him very much anymore, and it was just like too late when his actual symptoms showed up that there wasn't very much that we could do anymore. And yeah, I think that was probably what was the hardest about it, that we didn't really have much time to prepare ourselves. It was just kind of like, we have to make a decision, and we made that decision as best as we could. And honestly, I like to think that he left being happy, knowing how much we all loved him, because we were all with him. Like I said, we never left his side. We were all there the whole time. My dad held him in his arms, which I think was probably one of the hardest things for him, because he legit loved him. And to this day, I know that he still misses him, and he always tells me all these things about him, like, oh, well, he used to do this and he used to do that. And then Simba, even, I think he kind of noticed that he wasn't around, because he went over for the first time the other day, and he was kind of just roaming around looking for him, smelling everywhere that he had been, and like he just couldn't find him. I don't think he really understands the situation, but he just knew that he wasn't there. But yeah, so that is that. So I'm just gonna end this here. Like I said, sorry for it not being the happiest of all vlogs, video, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, so that's it. And then I will be posting again. I think we might be going on a small little trip soon, so I will definitely be vlogging that, and I'll show you guys where we go. I'm not exactly sure where we're planning on going to Colorado, but depends on the days off and all that, so we might go somewhere closer, just depends. But I will bring you guys along to wherever it is that we go. And yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching. And like I said, if you guys have any comments or about all this, advice, anything, just let me know. I would really greatly appreciate it. But thank you for listening. It's more of like a venting type of day, just because it was about time that I just spoke about it instead of just keeping it all in. Even though I don't keep it all in, I talk to like my fiance mainly about it. But then I feel like I just annoy him because I just keep going on and on. Or I'll just cry and I feel bad because I just start crying and he's just like, He doesn't tell me to stop crying. He understands, but I just feel bad. But yeah, so that is it. I've said that like 3 times already. But thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!